Thank you, Shreyas. Thank you for the wonderful introduction and thank you for including me in this session. My topic is DALK in keratoconus. We all know surgical management of keratoconus has improved with advances in surgical techniques, instrumentation, and diagnostic evaluation. DALK procedures should be performed prior to penetrating keratoplasty as it eliminates the risk of endothelial rejection. It ensures graft survival. And it's equivalent to penetrating keratoplasty in terms of refractive error, optical outcome. So wherever possible, it should be tried. And generally accepted indications for keratoplasty is in keratoconus patients who are having poor visual acuity with contact lenses and contact lens intolerant patients or inability to fit or wear contact lenses and non-resolving eye drops or healed eye drops patients. And the percentage of patients with keratoconus eventually requiring keratoplasty is roughly around 12% as far as this particular study is concerned, which is a multi-center prospective study. And younger age, steeper keratometry and poor visual acuity, corneal scarring due to various reasons like post-CXL dense haze or scarring or melt or aborted melt or post-CXL infection, microbial keratitis, healed scar right in the center, Bowman scarring or deeper or Descemet scarring, contact lens discomfort and poorer vision related quality of life were identified with a higher likelihood of keratoplasty. So there are different techniques of doing DALK. So the various surgeons have described different techniques, but the commonest, the safest, and the easy way of doing it is the big bubble technique described by Anwar and Diekman. And we all know it's that when the air is injected into the corneal stroma, three types of big bubbles can be achieved. Type 1 bubble, it is actually also called white margin bubble. And it's the most common. The plane of cleavage is between stroma and the pre-descemetic layer or Duas layer. And type 2 bubble, it's a thin margin, like it's a clear margin. It's a thin bubble, and it forms between Descemet's membrane and pre-descemetic layer, that is Duas layer. And the third type is a mixed big bubble, and in which both type 1 and type 2 appear together, either complete or partial. So this is a type 1 big bubble and it's a well circumscribed and it can go up to 8.5 millimeters in diameter. It has got a white edge and it's achieved in almost 80% of the cases, and this is the preferred type of bubble in DALK. The chances of perforation with the type 1 big bubble is very less as compared to type 2 or type 3 bubble. So this is a big, again, type 1 big bubble, the stromal whitening which extends from the site of injection to the limbus on the other side. So in that process, it displaces the anterior chamber big bubble. So make sure that you are dealing with the type 1 bubble. Let us look into some of the case examples. This particular patient is a 12 years old boy and comes to us with the poor vision in the right eye, that is 6/60 with the best of correction. The patient was not accepting any cylinders. The quality of scan is not good, but of course, like the advanced keratoconus case with the thin cornea and high astigmatism. So we went ahead with the DALK in this particular case. This is actually a typical big bubble technique which I usually follow. After the big bubble formation, I do a superficial lamellar keratectomy and then make a nick incision using a 11 number blade, inject air bubble, inject visco, and then to keep the Descemet's away from all the manipulations. So with the help of Vanna's scissors, I make a cut in the posterior lamella and it can be 4 or 5 segments, and it is completely removed, taking care not to leave any posterior lip. And then viscoelastic substance is completely washed out. This is the donor preparation, and the donor's Descemet's endothelial complex is then peeled off with the vexel sponge, and it's placed on the host bed and suture. Usually place 16 sutures if the graft is more than 8 millimeters in size. So coming to type 2 big bubble, it's very important to identify this type 2 bubble, because it's actually more susceptible to tears and bursting. You can see a nice big bubble, which is around 9.5 or 10 millimeters in dia. And it's a thin walled bubble, but identifying this is very important, because you should not rupture this in the beginning of the surgery. This is a case, a 27-year-old patient with the central opacity, and the visual acuity is counting finger 3 meters, and this is the topo picture, and this is the slit lamp picture of the patient. There is a scar here, and anti-segment OCT shows a dense scar here. Is the steep cornea, dense scar. She had tried all the contact lenses, RGP lenses, and even rose-K lenses. She was not even happy with the scleral lenses. So we went ahead with the DALK in this particular patient. It's actually a scarred cornea. There is no hydrops, or it's not a healed hydrops also. So you can expect a type 2 or type 3 bubble in these cases. And this is a type 2 bubble. You can see a nice thin walled bubble. So the moment you recognize this type 2 bubble, it's better you go ahead and do a manual layer by layer dissection. This is what I'm doing here, so that you can preserve the Descemet's till the end. And this gives excellent results. Maybe the BCVA may be 1 or 2 lines less than what is expected in a big bubble DALK, but it serves the purpose. You are going to preserve the endothelium. And this is another case, the case of healed hydrops. The patient is improving to 636 with the best of correction. And this is the anti-segment OCT picture. You can see a dense scar here, the healed hydrops here. And this is a specular microscopic picture, may not be very reliable, because the central area is densely scarred, and the count is 1400. But still we can go ahead with the DALK in these cases. And this is again, I usually inject air bubble, not to form a big bubble, but it's superficially I inject air bubble, not directing towards the hydrops area, the healed hydrops area, the scarred area. So I go layer by layer dissection and do a pre-Descemetic DALK. Gives excellent results. So in these cases, if you have an intraoperative OCT, it will be very useful. But even without that, with the experience, you can go ahead and complete DALK procedure. And this is the 2 weeks post-operative picture, and 6 weeks post-operative picture, 9 months post-operative picture. Not exactly in the center, it is slightly away from the center. This is the preoperative ASOCT and post-operative ASOCT. You can see the regularization of the cornea here. And again, one more case of Descemet's membrane scar, that is we have done a DALK for this patient. You can see the scar here, which is paracentral. You can attempt DALK in patients with healed hydrops if the scar is paracentral. So you can see a nice scar here. Actually, the visual area is patient can have excellent vision. We have done a study, and it was published last year in IJO, and where we included 9 cases of healed hydrops. The results were excellent. There is one more minute. A few case examples. Our own case, this particular patient is a case who underwent CXL and comes back to us after 2 years of CXL with a central aborted melt and dense haze around. And this is the anti-segment OCT picture. You can see the abnormal thinning of the cornea here. and flattening of the cornea and dense opacity in the posterior stroma. So these are the cases which improves with the DALK. One more case, this is a post-CXL keratitis. It is actually culture positive Staphylococcus aureus, and we treated this patient with moxifloxacin. And after 1 week of initiating the treatment, we started him on steroids also. This is a central scar which is reduced to nebulomacular scar, but the visual acuity has not improved beyond 624, and this particular patient underwent DALK. This one interesting case is a patient came to us a few months back. Last slide.
Yes.
Okay. Gave a history of C3R done for progressive keratoconus, and this was the picture. I suggested a DALK for this patient then. She didn't turn up for some time, and last week she came back to us with a large central desmetocele. This is actually, now she is 9 months pregnant. Definitely an emergency is desmetocele. We should either go ahead with the DALK or PK in this case. To conclude, the advanced cases of keratoconus often require surgical intervention to restore corneal anatomy and improve visual acuity. DALK should be performed as the standard care surgery when keratoplasty is required in keratoconus. It is safe and it's very effective, and optical results are comparable to PK in most of the cases. Thank you.